warm, cheerful service. What are you waiting for?
What's a present the whole family can enjoy?
For a real good present, you should buy them a TV and a couple of tapes.
This Zenith TV is just $189.99 at Sears.
You should get them a TV because they might be bored in their room.
And the Zenith VCR is just $179.99.
You'll get to watch a lot of things.
Both are gifts that will bring everyone together.
Feels like, thank you, Mom.
Could Christmas presents you give to children do more harm than good? Sunday at 6.
It's official. Washington has done it again. Another partial shutdown of the government.
If anything, I think the politicians should not get paid during the time that the government's closed down.
And as a group of bipartisan senators urge an end to the budget bickering, Bob Dole says it's time for the president to join the talks.
It's time for the principals to be principals.
And in Bosnia, American troops begin to make their mark.
From ABC, this is World News Saturday. Here's John Cochran.
Good evening. Surely they wouldn't do it again. They wouldn't let part of the government be shut down again. But last night at midnight, that's what happened. It's partly politics, but it's also a deadly serious disagreement over not just the federal budget, but the direction this government and this nation should be headed as we move into the next century. Today, the government was headed nowhere. Here's ABC's Jerry King.
Each side is trying to force the other to blink first before talks can restart on the budget impasse.
And until they're able to come back in the room and sit down in a serious way to work with us, we're not going to get an agreement.
He is the president. We're waiting for him to call us. We'll be glad to come to the White House or anywhere else to meet with the president, talk about a balanced budget.
There are deep philosophical differences keeping each side from straying far from its declared principles. For the president, speaking to congressional Democrats at Blair House, the bottom line is,
we don't believe that decimating Medicare and Medicaid and undermining our investments in education and the environment, raising taxes on working families is a good prescription for America's future.
The top priority for congressional Republicans?
The only thing we've been asking for is for the president to live up to the agreement that we made, that we would both present a plan that balances the budget in 7 years using real numbers.
The key to the impasse may be the 21 so-called blue dog conservative Democrats whose support each side sought today, and a bipartisan group of 12 moderate senators offering their own compromised budget.
We've agreed that the Republicans must lower the tax cut number. The Democrats must increase the entitlement cut number. Now, that's not easy for either side, but it's essential if we're going to get this a balanced budget agreement.
Given the entrenched and highly political positions, there does not appear to be a compromise in the near future. And on Monday, the partial shutdown of the government, Part 2, begins in earnest. That means furloughs again for more than 250,000 federal workers, and if the shutdown continues past Thursday, benefits checks for veterans and their survivors due to go out January 1st, delayed indefinitely. Jerry King, ABC News, the White House.
They call the shutdown a partial shutdown, but when it affects you, it starts to seem very important. And there are many examples of people who could soon find they are on that list. ABC's Bob Jameson has already found some.
With New Jersey already in the solid grip of winter, the budget impasse comes at a critical time for 10-year-old Christopher McCarthy and his mother, Mary. Mary is a widow, and she and Christopher live on Social Security and food stamps. They depend on federal fuel assistance to buy the oil that heats their apartment, $438 last year. Without a budget agreement, there has been no government check, and there's no other money to buy oil.
I'm going to have to go to churches or see if I can get donations or something. That's the million-dollar question.
There are 3.4 million families in the country like the McCarthys. In a normal year, New Jersey residents who had not received their fuel assistance checks by now could get their oil on credit. Social service agencies would guarantee payment because federal funding had always been assured. But the budget impasse has left unclear how much, if any, fuel assistance there will be. House Republicans want to kill the program.
Nobody said this job in Washington was going to be easy, and we've been making some difficult choices.
Senate Republicans want to restore $900 million of the funding, and senators from cold weather states are frustrated by the continuing impasse.
what is it going to take? Someone freezing to death for us to take action? Then it will be too late.
More than 100 Democrats and Republicans are pressing President Clinton to release $300 million in emergency funds to provide help for these people in the absence of a budget agreement. Bob Jamison, ABC News, Garfield, New Jersey.
Washington politicians at the White House and on Capitol Hill know this shutdown is not winning them any friends, but they seem helpless for the moment to get off dead center. A short time ago, we asked the Republican leader in the Senate, Bob Dole, what now?
Well, right now we're still waiting to hear from the president. On November 19th, he agreed he'd help us work on a balanced budget for over 7 years using Congressional Budget Office numbers, and we think he ought to stick to that agreement. So we're waiting for the phone to ring. We're prepared to sit down tonight, tomorrow. It is serious. We want to resolve the problem. We don't make light of it. But right now, nothing's happening.
Well, at some point, you have to stop waiting for the president, and you and Speaker Gingrich have to pick up the phone and say, Mr. President, we've got to talk.
Well, we tried that before, and I may do that before the weekend's over. I think the president didn't mind calling me when he needed help on Bosnia, and I may cash in some of those chits, because it seems to me that he made a promise. He told me, if not explicitly, implicitly, that we would get serious on the budget. Bosnia was important. When that was over, get serious on the budget. We haven't done that. He called me on the way back from Paris, and we talked about the budget, and I talked about the need to get serious about it. So I hope he'll call me. If not, we'll start meeting, as we did today, with so-called groups and senators and House members who are trying to come together. These are called Blue Dogs in the House, and a group of Republican and Democratic senators. We're going to start meeting with them.
Well, a lot of Democrats and Republicans, too, think that if you and Bill Clinton could sit down in a room behind closed doors, you could reach an agreement, but that the real problem is House Republicans. How much truth is there in that?
Well, I don't know. I'd be happy to sit down with the president. I wouldn't do it without the speaker being there.
But is the problem really the House? That's really my question.
Well, I don't think it's a problem. I think they feel very strongly about it. They initiated the revolution. They've done a lot of hard work. They've been at this for over 11 months. I told them yesterday in a meeting, I said, the senators are just as tough as House members, and we think we've demonstrated that. So I think if the president, Bob Dole, and Newt Gingrich sat down together, we could work out an agreement. Oh, it would take probably a full day, but we could do it in a full day.
Senator, you're running for president. The last time the government shut down last month, most people, according to the polls, blamed the Republicans. Right. Is this becoming dangerous for you now?
Well, I would hope they would not blame Republicans. We would like to get this resolved. We think the American people want a balanced budget over the next 7 years. That's our goal. That's what we're trying to do. The president says he wants the same thing. And I think what the American people must be wanting, why don't these three principals sit down and work together? I'm willing, the speaker's willing, the president says he's willing, but we ought to do it alone and not have 30, 40 other 50 people around.
So it's time for the three of you to talk alone.
It's time for the principals to be principals.
Senator Dole, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tomorrow on This Week with David Brinkley, more on the budget impasse and the government shutdown with Senator Pete Domenici, Congressman John Kasich, and White House Chief of Staff Leon Panetta. And still ahead, a controversial plan to make drug testing a condition for bail, frustrating turnarounds in the sky over Bosnia, and winter on the campaign trail.
This is World News Saturday, brought to you by Cotton Incorporated.
Here, do something. You guys are having spaghetti for dinner? Thank you.
Life moves pretty fast. Sometimes you have to tell yourself, stop. Look around. This is the good stuff. This is the fabric of our lives. This is cotton.
Why pour, measure, lug, splash, and push to clean your hardwood floors when there's new Mop & Glow Hardwood Floor Cleaner? Just squirt and mop. No dulling residue, no rinsing. It couldn't be easier. New Mop & Glow Hardwood Floor Cleaner. One step away from clean.
Are you taking chances without a calcium supplement? It could take 20 years to find out. By then, it may be too late. Which one should you take? Oscal. Oscal is tested and proven effective in clinical studies and doctor recommended for pennies more a day. Don't take chances. Take Oscal.
If drug use contributes to crime, and studies show that is true, then President Clinton says he has a new plan to attack both problems. And it comes just days after Republican leaders Dole and Gingrich accused him of failing to address the drug problem in America. The president will outline details of his new directive this coming Monday, and already it's controversial. Here's ABC's Tim O'Brien.
The directive means that anyone accused of a federal offense, any federal offense, will be asked to submit to a drug test as a condition for bail. And those who refuse...
Well, it's too bad. You're applying for bail. It's a condition of bail to abstain from taking drugs.
Harvard professor Mark Kleinman assisted the White House in drafting the proposal, which would require federal prosecutors to request detention or ongoing testing for anyone who tests positive.
It obviously responds to what we see as a very direct link between drug use and crime, and it would make it more possible that we could keep dangerous criminal offenders off the streets.
Civil libertarians say the administration directive flies in the face of the presumption of innocence, violates the right to privacy, and sweeps too broadly.
People get arrested for all kinds of crimes that have nothing to do with drug use. People get arrested because they didn't file their tax returns. Here in Washington, people get arrested because they kneel down and pray on the White House lawn, where they're not supposed to be.
But the administration points to a recent Supreme Court ruling allowing student athletes to be tested for drugs without any suspicion they were taking them. If they can be tested, why not criminal defendants? And drug testing has routinely been required as a condition for probation. But there is no constitutional right to probation or to play in the school football team. The Constitution, on the other hand, does recognize a right to bail and to liberty, not to be wrongly sent to prison. Points not lost on the nation's defense lawyers.
I am absolutely certain it'll be challenged in court. What's even worse about it is the president is proposing that states should mimic this crazy idea. I think it's going to be the Defense Attorneys Relief Act.
And there are other costs to consider, too. Should the states follow the federal government's lead, it would mean hundreds of thousands of new drug tests costing millions of dollars for people who have never been found guilty or even suspected of using drugs. Tim O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
Now, Whitewater, the story the White House wishes would go away. The White House says it may be willing to give on 2 of the 3 points that are keeping some disputed documents out of the hands of the Whitewater Committee. However, Senate Committee Chairman Alphonse D'Amato said today this is just a delaying tactic by the White House. He wants the documents without any conditions, and he's ready to take the battle to court. And in Jerusalem today, Secretary of State Warren Christopher and Prime Minister Shimon Peres announced that Israel and Syria have agreed to resume their peace talks, ending a 6-month deadlock. Talks resume near Washington on December 27th. When we come back, looking for warmth in the Bosnian winter.
Presenting the Dremel Multi-Pro. You cut, Dremel cuts. You sharpen, Dremel sharpens. You polish, Dremel polishes. You drill, Dremel drills. You clean, Dremel cleans. You sand, Dremel sands. You grind, Dremel grinds. You hammer. Did I mention we cut? The Dremel Multi-Pro. With up to 30,000 RPM, it has the speed you need to power through hundreds of jobs.
Finally, great popcorn from your microwave. Power Pop. Presto Power Pop Microwave Multi-Popper. Power Pop. Pops virtually every kernel. Pop with oil, pop without oil. Nothing pops like Power Pop. That's why it's endorsed by Orville Redenbacher. Power Pop. From Presto.
How much closer are our precision heads? Our innovative lift and cut system? How much better is the latest Norelco? In a word, we've never brought you closer. The Norelco Razor, our closest shave ever.
To me, the best rules are the ones you make yourself. For example, if there's a better way, I'll take it. That's how I found this Healthy Choice cereal from Kellogg's. They really made new rules when they invented these toasted brown sugar squares, like give it 3 different grains for a good crunch. Then put enough brown sugar and honey in there so you don't miss a frosting. Fun without frosting. Now there's a rule I can live with.
Healthy Choice cereal. Sure, it's good for you.
But taste rules.
Arthritis pain, it's a part of my life. That's why I keep Advil close by. Just one works as well as 2 regular Tylenol. And give me Advil any day over a leave. With that, if your pain comes back, it could be hours before you can take more. I don't have that long wait with Advil.
Advil works at the site of minor arthritis pain, stopping it where it starts.
Nothing's proven to work better or last longer than Advil.
And now introducing new Advil Gel Caplets. One more advance for Advil. Advanced medicine for pain.
This was supposed to be go day for the U.S. troop deployment in Bosnia, but again, a heavy curtain of fog in the city of Tuzla kept the planes from landing. A frustrating day, as Flight 108 of the U.S. Army's 37th Airlift Squadron learned after it took off from Ramstein, Germany earlier today. Here's ABC's Richard Gisbert.
On board Flight 108, a 3-man Army team that is supposed to help establish a communication system in Tuzla, but can't get there. Their first 3 flights in were thwarted by bad weather. This pilot has tried twice and made it once.
We were supposed to fly 2 days ago and we never got off the ground.
Flight 108 took the scenic route to the Balkan war zone. For the soldiers, the 4-hour flight over the Alps is a time to relax. But the approach to Tuzla brings bad news. The cloud layer is only 500 feet off the ground. The pilot needs 1,000. Only one American transport plane came close to touching down in Tuzla today. Its pilot got within a few feet of the runway before deciding it wasn't safe. Flight 108 returned to Germany and spotted another C-130 heading home from an aborted mission to Bosnia. The pilots compared notes.
How close did we get? We got about 500 feet at the most, huh?
Well, they're 1,000 above us.
1,000 above us, that's right.
About 1,000 feet.
For the troops, it was another military exercise in frustration.
I guess it's a little bit of emotional letdown. You're getting pumped up. Kind of a setback. You want to get down and get started instead of saying bye every other day.
On the way back to the barracks, this would-be advance team was philosophical.
Our job was to get there before all 20,000 folks got there, and it looks like now if we just started walking, we'd have beat them.
Dunn and his team are on standby, ready to try again tonight. Richard Gisbert, ABC News.
There is a handful of U.S. troops already in Tuzla, about 186, and they had expected to have some company by now. But as John McWethy reports, those lonely American troops are beginning to put their mark on the place.
Just inside the gate of what is to be the American headquarters in Bosnia is a little hole in the wall called the Bosnia Grill.
Cheeseburger, cheeseburger, 5.
Its limited menu has a magic ring of home, and since soldiers here have little else to divert them, it has become an instant hit, day and night. Part of the reason is the gentle touch of Jusik Aizudin, a former Yugoslav basketball player who, along with his wife, runs this little oasis from military chow.
Yesterday he brought out like a plate of some pastries. We had about 4 or 5 of us up here, and he handed that out and just basically gave it to us. Just gave it to you? As a dessert, yes, sir.
Aizudin says he is expanding his menu.
Pizza.
Yeah.
And he's looking for other ideas. Sergeant Douglas Jackson suggests a drive-through window for tanks and Humvees.
You knock out that wall. He's already got a door. We get drive-through service. You don't have to get out the vehicle, you know?
And then maybe a few other touches to make it seem more like Brooklyn.
Hairnets. There you go. Some hairnets.
Hairnets on the ladies who are cooking?
Yeah, and a girl named Flo back there. Chewing some old bubble gum. That's what we need.
Aizudin put up Christmas lights because the young men who stand outside this small window are far away from home. And he said this is the season of peace.
I thought that was neat when we first got in to see the blinking lights. Although lately, the days have been coming by, and I didn't even know how close we are at Christmas.
For most soldiers here in Bosnia, this Christmas is anything but a holiday.
The fact that I'm not at home is not a factor.
Yeah.
I'm a career soldier. Just about everybody out here is. We're used to this. This is the 5th deployment from Christmas.
But a Pepsi, a cheeseburger to go, and a good sense of humor can help a soldier get by.
Now I'm off to save the free world and everybody else. I'll see you gentlemen later.
John McWethy, ABC News, Tuzla.
When we come back, 'tis the season again in Iowa.
Nobody does it like you, the way that you do.
Nobody's got the power to please me.
The new Hoover Steam Vac Deluxe with a 5-brush agitator. It washes and extracts dirt like a whole crew of professionals. So you know, there's really no comparison.
Nobody does it like you, Hoover. Nobody does it like you.
Just ask your doctor. Bayer. Powerful pain relief and so much more.
How would your dentist recommend you clean your teeth? The Braun Oral-B Plaque Remover has been clinically proven to clean teeth better than a manual toothbrush. Its unique cup-shaped brush head removes plaque from deep between teeth and even below the gum line. Leaving your teeth so clean, you can feel it. And now kids can start brushing better too, with a model designed just for them. The Braun Oral-B Plaque Remover cleans better than a manual toothbrush.
Presenting the newest Black & Decker Dustbuster and Morgan the Butler. With twice the power as before, this Dustbuster will pick up practically anything around the house. Morgan, the newest Dustbuster. More power, more pickups.
Maxwell House introduces new Irish Cream Cappuccino in 4 easy steps.
Delicious.
New Irish Cream Cappuccino, only from Maxwell House.
The Iowa political caucuses are still 58 days away, but caucus fever has hit hard, especially with the state of Louisiana hoping to steal Iowa's limelight with an earlier caucus of its own. For Iowa, it's long been a point of pride. Its caucus is the first stop on the presidential campaign trail, even before New Hampshire's primary. So while the rest of us are still deep in the Christmas rush, the citizens of Iowa are steeped in politics. Here's ABC's Anderson Cooper.
This is Iowa in December, Iowa Falls to be exact, about an hour and a half north of Des Moines. With the wind chill, it's about 40 below, and the roads are deserted. Not the kind of day you go out unless you have to. And Jim Friedrich has to. He's a campaign worker. Actually, his title is Organization Specialist for Lamar Alexander. And today, he's organized a luncheon for his candidate.
December is a key month, and if we go to an event like today and we pick up 3 or 4 new caucus goers or precinct leaders, it's a successful event.
Lamar Alexander. By the time Alexander arrives at the American Legion Hall, only a couple dozen people have shown up, but they make the best of it. And maybe even pick up a vote or two.
I like his panoply. I could have.
That'll help him out in Iowa? Why is that?
Well, people like the down-home type. You know, I think that's something that'll really appeal to a lot of Iowans.
Well, that's the point, of course, personal contact. Part of the reason presidential hopefuls traipse through the snow here every 4 years. But this year, Republican candidates have set a new record, spending more time and more money in Iowa than ever before.
I'm coming to Iowa this summer to get to know you.
And earlier than ever before. Alexander began running campaign commercials back in June, and for the past 2 weeks, the airwaves, radio, and television have been saturated. Millionaire Steve Forbes has already spent an estimated $1 million for ads here.
Conservative for president.
Iowans have been inundated, but there's still 7 weeks to go before the caucuses, and up in the northwest part of the state, in Lamar's, some of them are beginning to get tired of it.
They're badgering each other right now, you know, trying to get a foothold and get you to believe what they think. But they'll never get as far as I'm concerned. You can talk to just about anybody you want in here. They're tired of hearing about what the other guy didn't do and what I'm going to do. Just tell me what you're going to do, and then do it.
At this point, they don't tell you what they're going to do?
No, they're so busy running the other guy down what he don't do that they don't get to their own plan.
Outside, the only person hanging around is Santa, and he says he doesn't have time for politics.
Busy time of the year for me, and that's all I can do right now is just focus directly on Christmas.
But over at the Methodist Church, the sermon is less Christmas than Washington.
There are people who are impacted by these changes in the budget bill before our Congress now. And right now, our nation seems to be waging war on children. And we are doing it under the name of cutting back on welfare.
After church, Pastor Higdon admits politics makes for a touchy subject. How do you think people reacted to it?
Well, I don't know. I guess you say, you didn't hear anybody say good sermon, did you? On the way out, you didn't hear that.
It sounded like that sermon was created by the Democratic National Committee.
That's Jim Hoey, a retired teacher who spends Sunday afternoon hunting with his son-in-law, Scott Roy. He's heard the talk about the politics of anger. And while he's angry too, he's determined to make his vote count.
Actually, if I had my choice, it'd be Pat Buchanan. But realistically, he can't win, of course. And so it's, as far as Republicans, it's either Phil Gramm or Candace Mann.
Jim and Scott get annoyed sometimes by the tone of the campaigning here, but they both plan on going to the caucuses. They want to be heard, and like many in Iowa, they savor the power their state has in picking presidential nominees.
Maybe we don't represent what the United States is. Well, I think we represent what a lot of people wish it was still.
And in Iowa in December, they're beginning to make their choices. Anderson Cooper, ABC News, Le Mars, Iowa.
When we come back, a holiday dream restored.
Why pour, measure, lug, splash, and push to clean your hardwood floors when there's new Mop & Glow Hardwood Floor Cleaner? Just squirt and mop. No gelling residue, no rinsing. It couldn't be easier. New Mop & Glow Hardwood Floor Cleaner. One step away from clean.
30 years ago, we promised to take care of each other.
Seems like only yesterday.
And today we're taking better care of our health with Ensure. Ensure is recommended #1 by doctors as a source of complete, balanced nutrition.
More than a vitamin supplement, Ensure has all the nutrients adults need to help stay healthy, active, be energetic.
Drink Ensure as a meal.
Or in between meals. Ensure to your health, honey.
Oh, to our health.
Ensure, recommended #1 by doctors.
I bet she'd love perfume.
Okay, I'll take it. Ooh, a pearl necklace.
It's on sale.
Oh. Quick, where's gift writer?
Sunday on This Week with David Brinkley. No Christmas cheer in Washington. The latest on the budget breakdown as the White House Chief of Staff takes on leading Republicans. Sunday.
The bad weather holding up that military operation in Bosnia hasn't stopped another important mission, Operation Christmas Child. An airlift of toys from Britain and the United States was loaded up in London today and sent off to Croatia. The toys are destined for children throughout the war zone. And finally tonight, a tragedy in Detroit. A huge fire last night ripped through one of the area's biggest charities, the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. No one was hurt, but the damage was enormous. And so was the response. Here's ABC's Deborah Amos.
It was a warehouse crammed with good intentions. 3 floors of donated goods that stretched over a city block. Furniture, appliances, artwork, toys, even cars, all destroyed in an 8-hour blaze that consumed the warehouse and the Christmas hopes of the poorest families in the Detroit area.
There's no place else to turn. St. Vincent de Paul is the last place that they can turn for help.
400 charities depend on the society, and there's a network of 18 thrift shops, all supplied from a warehouse now gutted.
St. Vincent's.
But there was some good news today. Thousands of phone calls with offers of new donations and a place to put them. One man who said only that his name is Mickey arranged for a new warehouse.
I don't know what he looks like. I've only talked to him.
With 10 days to go before Christmas, this city may just think of him as St. Mick. Deborah Amos, ABC News.
And that's World News Saturday. I'm John Cochran. For all of us here at ABC News, thank you and good night.